If Dirty Harry and Wyatt Earp had a baby and pumped it full of HGH and testosterone, it would still only be half the badass lawman that Judge Dredd is. So it only makes sense that Dredd would have a sidearm that's twice the gun that Earp's Colt 45 or Harry's 44 Magnum is. That weapon is the Lawgiver. It can fire specialized ammunition such as incendiary rounds, ricochet rounds, and even heat-seeking rounds. But that's just something in comic books and movies. A bullet that can course correct in mid-flight and home in on a target is something we may have in the 22nd century, but certainly not something we have right now. Or is it? I'm Rusty Ward, and I believe in justice. And whether you're a serial killer ducking around a corner or an evil CEO escaping in his corporate helicopter, I don't think you should be able to escape justice. I'm sure these are the exact type of scenarios that physicist Bill McLean had in mind when he built and tested the first Sidewinder missile in 1953. After World War II, there was a big push to build smart weapons. The first guided missiles used radar technology, but this was expensive and impractical, and the missiles had a 90% failure rate. So Bill McLean developed a better system. His Sidewinder missiles used a photovoltaic cell to sense infrared light. You see, heat-seeking missiles are technically infrared light-seeking missiles. The heat-seeker nickname comes from the fact that the hotter something is, the more infrared light it gives off. If you fired a Sidewinder missile near a fighter jet, the missile would direct itself towards the plane's exhaust or fuselage, the hottest things in the area, and therefore the things emitting the most infrared energy. Of course, there's a lot more to a Sidewinder than just a photovoltaic cell. There's guidance control electronics, a control actuation unit, and a battery to power it all. That's too much tech to fit in a bullet. At least it was, until 2012, when Sandia National Laboratories created the first self-guided bullet. It works much the same way a Sidewinder does. But instead of homing in on general infrared light, it's programmed to lock onto a laser that's painted on the target. The bullet can be fired from more than a mile away and self-correct its course 30 times a second using tiny fins found at its base. More recently, DARPA's Exacto program, which stands for Extreme Accuracy Tasked Ordnance, released a video showing a new smart bullet that displays an even greater ability to course correct. How exactly this bullet works is still being kept top secret, but the images they've released suggest that its design is different than the Sandia Labs bullet. The DARPA bullets have no fins to aid in course correction, so how they're able to guide themselves is still a mystery. But not for long, because look what I got. My own official DARPA ID. All I have to do is walk into DARPA, show them this completely legitimate identification badge that I made at home using Photoshop, and they will open the doors and let me see every top secret project they have hidden away. But even if they do realize that I don't officially work for DARPA, what are they gonna do? I mean, I can't imagine that trying to sneak into a highly sensitive military research facility is considered a big deal. Anyway, I'll tell you how it went next episode. In the meantime, tell me what superpower you want. Volcarno commented that he was looking for an episode that talked about the power of the Marvel supervillain Claw, and he is one of the coolest supervillains. And his abilities have to do with harnessing sonics, and there is some sonic levitation being done right now, which I wanted to kind of dive into, maybe do a Banshee episode, but Claw is an even better candidate because I just think he's one of the coolest supervillains. Tyler said he's looking for the ability to manipulate plasma. I think that's a great idea. Growing up, one of my favorite X-Men was Havoc because his plasma powers were immensely powerful and also kind of out of his control. He was constantly always trying to keep it inside. And I think that would be a great episode, a plasma manipulation episode, so I'd like to do it. Reese wants an episode about Cyborg from DC Comics, and I love Cyborg, and I love cyborgs in general, and I'll definitely be doing a cybernetics episode. Christian Moran commented that he's interested in learning more about the power of prophetic dreams. And I think the science of dreaming and the things that it allows us to tap into would make for a great superpower episode. What exactly can we harness, can we release, when our unconscious mind is cut loose? Shaza is looking for the power to manipulate emotions, and that is an awesome one. I don't know if anybody remembers the Hellion Empath, but he was one of the baddest bad guys around, one of the New Mutants villains, and I always loved the power to control emotions because you could do so much with that, drive people into a frothing rage or calm them down, and if we could use that ability, what would we use it for?